Hello, everybody. I've got to get this from off the screen. I was just practicing some things, try to make it a little more interesting and maybe a little easier to follow. It's the 1st of October. It's a season. October, the autumn's always been a season of shifts. It's when in the Northern Hemisphere the crops let go and you get a chance to review what you've done in the past year. Has it worked? Has it not? Of course, we get to vote if you're in the U.S., um, and it's that sort of time. And before I get any further into chit chat, I want us to all take a moment of silence and prayer and blessings to those people caught up in the latest evidence that the world is definitely in climate change. The people who are suffering after Helene has gone by. And blessings to all of you who are anchored by family to this situation and are living with it. My daughter went to school in North Carolina and to a women's college, and she would like to move back there actually when she retires. Um, it's it's such. I've driven through the state. I think we drove through Asheville once. I don't remember, but apparently, if I can't have no memory of it then, I will never have a memory of Asheville. She was crushed by how Asheville was devastated by it, but the whole region was devastated. So um, I want us to keep. We can have a good time. We can enjoy and learn what we need to learn today, but we need to keep thoughts of well-being towards those people. Yeah, I live. It can flood here in Texas, and I've never lived through it, but I understand for people who had to dig their way out of it. I had a friend whose house burnt down, and she said that was much cleaner than trying to get out of a flood. Needless to say, I've never moved next door to that friend after all the things that happened to her houses. But anyway, so what are we going to look at today? We're going to do a quick look at a quick way to use numerology. Numerology is a very deep and astonishingly accurate way to view things. I learned it in conjunction with astrology when I first came across it, and then I learned to about how to use numbers in tarot, and I'm going to pitch it now, and I'll pitch it at the end of the thing. I am once again teaching tarot. I'm signing up people now. I have several people signed up. The class is not nearly full. I try to only have 10 so that everybody gets a chance to learn and have their questions answered. Um, if you're interested, you can go to the www.crystaldirections.com, and up in the shop is where you can find the whole description of the class, how it works, and but this is going to be a quick look because the first week of my tarot class, I teach numerology, and numerology basically believes, and I've had it proven with playing with it, that every letter of the alphabet is tied to the vibration of a number. So if you have an A, a J, or an S in your name, you have a vibration of 1 in your name somewhere. If you have a 2, you have a BKT. 3, it's a CLU. 4 is a DMV. Oh, Department of Motor Vehicles. Never realized that before. 5 is an ENW. 6 is an FOX, Fox. 7 is a GPY. 8 is an HQZ. And 9 is an I or an R. And when you learn numerology, you learn what the vibration is behind those. And I'm going to give you, this is the quickest tour you're ever going to have through numerology. And a 1 is a pioneer, starting point, beginning, creation. 2, if you think about it, I'm going to take that away. Okay, if you think about it, 1 is a pioneer, it's lone, it's 1. 2 is 2 people together, it's a duality. They don't have to be touching, they can be crossing, but there's just 2, and 2 is dual pairing points to start balance, positive and negative coupling. That's 2s. People who have a lot 3s prominent in their chart are 3 is communication with more than 2, building alliances and families. My life path is a 3. So I'll tell you that much. 4 is reality of life, barriers. It can also be barriers and obstacles, trials to overcome. But you want to create balance. You want to create a form. You figure if a 3 is like a triangle like that, then a 4 is go down to a point, you have to make a decision. You have to turn, go up, come back. You're making a square. They're builders, they're very practical people. They're people, architects, a lot of artists actually can be 4s because they're trying to bring their vision into a line of sight that's complete. 5 is pioneering in a group, finding place in society, creative thoughts. Or if a 5 doesn't work well, they can be very destructive. It's a really interesting number. It's you have freedom or chaos is in the number 5. 6 is home, harmony, self-acceptance with love, issues of health and happiness. So 6 is the mother of the numbers. 6 is the one that pulls everybody together in harmony. 7 is the number of spiritual growth, safety, and security. It also has a lot to do with analytical things. A lot of people you find who work with computers have 7s as their number. They're always analyzing. They're always pulling it together. Effort started must always be continued. That's a big part of a 7's life. 8 is wealth and health, justice and power, regeneration, and the power of infinity. Because if you take an 8, you put it on its side, it's the infinity symbol. And 9 is the attainment of a goal, near completion of any cycle you're in. That's a completion point. Like the 9, if you look in the tarot, the 9 cards are all something's ending, or it's about to end. And 10 is a completed cycle for better or worse. And 10 contains a 0. And the 0 is the infinite nothingness, boundless endings, limitless and pure energy. And there's some numbers you'll hear people banty about, like their life path, which is if you add all the digits in the day you're born and reduce it down to 1 digit, unless you're lucky, like the person who said they have a 33. 11s, 22s, and 33s are special numbers, and I'm not even going to go into that today, because it's a very complicated issue. But if you can reduce your birthday, my birthday happens to be 5/2/1949, and when you add all that up, it reduces down to a 3, which means that my life path, and this is what I came here to do, is communication with more than 2, building alliances and building families. So why am I going to teach you today is we're going to look at the first and the last letter, the first letter in your first vowel in your first name. And it's the name that's on your birth certificate, not the one you use. It's the name that's on your birth certificate. And we had someone who understood the assignment. Pixie. First vowel in my name is an A, and the last digit is, and the last digit of her birth year is a 5. So if we look back at this chart I put up, okay, if the first digit of her name is an A, that means that what this refers to is when you can tear numerology down, you can find very specific things. This one will relate to how she moves forward in her life path. And if she's an A, it means she's a strong leader. She's a pioneer, a ruler. She's very quick to make decisions, leads with wisdom. She can have power and control issues if things aren't going her way, but mostly she deals with the world with empathy. She's strategic, inspiring, a loner, and a phrase for her is a leader and an interpreter. So that would be show up in your life if you have an A in the first vowel of your name. This is for Pixie. So the last digit is a 5. So you go down to 5. And 5 you just read as the number. And then a 5 likes to explore, to adventure, freedom, seeker, changes, pioneer, can be a nomad. They can really, you probably like to move. You would, I do not have your numbers. Past life, in a past life, if you ever have a past life read, you may very well likely to find imprisonment or strong period of confinement that affected the future lives you had running forward. And this life, in a way, you want to escape that. You don't want to get caught up in that. But the need when you pick this in your life to have the number 5 as your last digit. And remember, we pick our names and our birth dates. That's how that happens. And you want to find inner freedom. Your passions are contagious. You can, not only do you want to run off into the wild and be a nomad, you're very good at talking to other people about being a nomad. You stay focused, and you're very, very free with how you feel, but you're not autocratic. But you have the 1 as your first digit, and from the A, so you might have a little bit more autocracy from that. Let's see, and we've got so that's kind of how you do. Now, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go through the numbers 1 through 9 and explain what the energies are. Okay, I'm going to show you this one. I'm going to get rid of this one. And I'm going to show you this one because okay, Debbie, so you're an E and a 2. That's a 7. You don't add these two together. They're 2 different vibrations that exist within your life, your birth date, and your name. And you can read them separately. And sometimes that can help you in understanding people. So you don't add them together. And I know everything, and we always in numerology, we're always adding stuff together. So what you want, if you're an E, you're a 5. So you have now vibrations from vowels are slightly different than names. You heard what a 5 looks like as a life path. A 5. Okay. 5. And I read them in the wrong order. So anyway, a 5, if that's the number that's in your name, a 5 is freedom and chaos. 5s can be very pioneering, finding a place in society that with creative thoughts, and you can have a very constructive energy. You can either build a house up or tear it down. And with your two life year is peacemaker, a diplomat, balance, the person who seeks balance, person who has a 2 as their at the end of their year, at the end of their birth year, can make you defensive. You will like to avoid conflict. you're big on honoring yourself, but you're also very big on honoring others. It's not just look what I did. You take other people along with you. So that's how that one works. And I'm going to try and go through this in as in another way. We'll look and see what your questions are so I can figure out how to. Sandra deserves a medal. She was here. She was here 15 minutes early. And Dr. Gale's listening to us in the car. And where are we with other people? And yes, it's kind of a positive break. You can use this to look up. Of course, with J.D. Vance, it's a real problem doing his numerology. Victoria Scarabo did his numerology. He's had 4 different names, which is extremely unusual, and it takes you 12 years to get into your new name. And he changed his first one when he was 12. His mother changed his name to take his birth father's name out of his name. That'll give us some fun childhood memories. And then he changed it along, and then he put the Vance in from God knows where. But she said he's not J.D. Vance yet because he hasn't lived long enough to have gone through 4 name changes and have them work in numerology. Like I said, numerology is really a deep subject. So Ness has a life path of 33, and that's good. That means she's extremely intuitive and extremely highborn. You volunteered to come in this time. You didn't have to. There's a whole lot of skill sets that go around at 33. Is she doing life path numbers? No, I'm not. I'm trying to give you this one little quick trick, but if I don't see better responses to it, then I'm going to go to talking about life path numbers. Oh, you're talking to each other. Okay. Oh, Coastal Crone saw a lot of her basic characteristics in the number 5. And we're going to do Rose Blue because she's an A4. And A's they vibrate as one. They're pioneers, impulsive, creative, driving, positive, hard worker, seeker of truth, hard on personal failures. You're too hard on yourself, Rose Blue. And you're sensitive to criticism. And along with the life, a birth year that ends with the letter 4, you're building, protecting, you structure things, security. And you love security, you love order. A challenge point for you is if you get in anything that's unstable or unstable, you'll immediately try to seek control. You trust that life will take care of you. You're practical problem solver. You're the person you can call to do concrete things. You're strong, but you're flexible. 4s are great builders, and so C. C can't be the first vowel of your. I'm going to think your first vowel is an A since your name is Carolyn Adams. A, you vibrate as 1. You're an impulsive creature, driving, positive, hardworking, seeker of truth. You're another one is too hard on your own personal failures. I have an A as my first vowel too, so I have the same problem. You're sensitive, and you can be very sensitive to criticism. And you're 7 for your year that you're born is. I have 2 different sets of sheets because 2 different numbers. You're strong. You're a strong mentor. You have a lot of inner wisdom. The hermit-like behavior. You're a solitary leader. You can actually enjoy isolation from others. You can um, live your life in seclusion. You're strong. You connect well with others. You have a lot of empathy, and you you're you're not prone to letting others support how you feel. And that's your downfall. You're so busy supporting everybody else, you're not supporting yourself. Madhu is an A and a 0. With the A, we've had that before. Vibrate is one, pioneering, impulsive creature, driving, positive hard worker, which I all know because I've done your cards and I've seen how you work. You're hard on your personal failures, and what's going on around you is not a personal failure. You're just in a shift, and you're sensitive to criticism. And the zeros are an interesting number because in normal numerology, I'm going to show you a site you can go to, and you can type in your name and your birth date, and it will calculate all this for you. It's lots of fun. I always knew there'd be one, and of course, it's a French website, but it works with English words. Deep, deep infinity, complete circle. Um, your guardian. You're beyond physical. You do things beyond the physical, and you search for greater purposes. You've always understood there was a world beyond the material world. You're not material. You like to balance your everyday life. This life has been a rebirth, and it's been a chance for you to figure a new way to anchor your soul as you go forward. And light is always, if you always go to the light, you'll always go to the correct way. And Kimberly, you have an I, and as you see, the I is a 9, and you're an old soul, humanitarian, charitable. You're so soft-hearted and so ahead of the curve that when the Eyes of the Angel ads come up with the puppies being injured, you're the first one on the fast forward. You don't sit through those things. You're responsible. You want to be responsible about being compassionate. You have the patience of a saint. You also have a great memory. So don't ever go up to Kimberly and say, I didn't say that, when she heard you say it. You have some lessons to learn about letting go and forgiveness. You were the challenging child in your birth family. Um, feel guilt when it shouldn't be called for. And your ultimate solace in life, Kimberly, is the out of doors. I already did you. You're an A and a 2, right? You're an A, you vibrate as 1, you're the pioneer. That's from your vowel, and the 2 is, I don't think I've read it 2, so 2 is peacemaker, diplomat, balance, mediation, interested in both sides. It can make you defensive if people aren't willing to listen to both sides. You will avoid conflict. Big in honoring yourself and recognizing what others do. And that's kind of true because I kind of know you. So, yeah, go on with that. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Uh, that would make sense with your numbers, Pixie, that you would move a lot because you're capable of doing that and not worrying about it because you like the challenge on the next thing. So I got Linda Bruce. Linda got the assignment completely. She knows, put an A and put a 9, and that's the end. A, we've got a lot of A's. There's a lot of A's in first names. I'll go through the other letters I don't hit. By the way, Y can be a vowel in this case because it's used as a vowel. And when it's used as a vowel, in some numerologists say if it's used as a vowel, record it as a vowel. For the purposes of this, we use it as a vowel. But yours are A, which your vibrate is 1, you're a pioneer. You've got all that great stuff. Seeker of truth. the big word of warning for you is that you're too hard on your own personal failures. Sometimes you viewed it as a failure instead of understanding it was a lesson to learn to get to where you needed to go. And when we go to the vibration of the 9 in your life, it's humanitarian, sage. You are capable truly of unconditional love. If you fall in love with something, that's it for that thing. You're in love with it. Justice and equality, contribute to the collective, balance, not you balance yourself so you don't burn out, and take care of yourself. The kind of the 3 words for 9 is lead, teach, and heal. And I do. Yes, I'm a nomad. Okay. Okay, and then I is 9. 9. I don't understand this. If you're the I, yes, the I is a 9. The other should just be whatever the last digit of your birth year is. And I don't know anybody who could have a 0 and a 9. And this is the only part of numerology that I know there's some sort of extensive work done on it where the 0 fits in so closely. The transition of the 0, okay. Yes, I'll do that question quickly when I pull a card. But it really is numerology today. Let's see. I'm going to pull a vibration card for you because I have them out for our closing cards. But trying to not work with cards so much today because this wrist is decided to show signs of arthritis, and I have to wear a brace on it every night. So shuffling cards is not the easiest, but it's not impossible. I'm not going to scream or die or anything. It's just what it is. Okay. It says you need to make way for miracles. So I think October is going to be a miraculous month for you, but be ready for them. Be mentally ready for them, and don't get into that. Oh, but that couldn't possibly happen to me. Okay. And next person's questions. Rose, blue. We're getting down to one that's got a number on it. Barbara. A, you're the pioneer again. You're you're a pioneer. You're not only a pioneer in the alpha, the first vowel of your name, but you are also have the strong leader, pioneer. Really strikes it. Whatever you've done in your life, you've often been the first in your crowd to do it, and or do if you did the same thing as others, you did it in a very different way. Love your graphic, and seeker of truth. That and okay, and I think you heard me talk about the 1 and the A. Those go perfectly together. That means that those 2 karmic paths for you have been very strong. Sandra, I have no idea what this question means. I know what the PPL is, so. Okay, Cartomancy. Hi, Cartomancy. Aren't we having lovely weather? It finally got cool. Oh, thank God. Linda Bruce. Okay. Linda's, the first vowel of your name is also an A, and you vibrate pioneer, impulsive creature, driving, positive, hard worker, seeker of truth, hard on personal failures, service, sensitive to criticism, and the 9 makes you a leader, a teacher, and a healer. So I think when you put those two vibrations together, you probably have always been the leader, and it says a leader. I think you probably fall back to teaching to other people, and you have the ability to heal them just by listening to them and understanding them. And that means you can also heal yourself. Okay, C plus 2. No, it's not the first letter, it's the second letter of your name. We're looking for the first vowel in your name. And you too are a pioneer, impulsive creature, driving, positive, hardworking, hard on personal failures. When you're really hard on yourself when you don't do things well, and you're sensitive to criticism. And because you chose the 2 as the last digit of your birth year, you're the peacemaker, you're the diplomat, you balance, you're good at mediation. That's the thing you could do. You understand both sides of things very well, and you get a little defensive when someone's too hard on one side. You can make um, that can make you a bit defensive in dealing with people. You will, because you need to mediate, you will avoid people that are in out and out conflict. Because when two energy systems, two people are meeting with vibrations that are totally in conflict, it would be very difficult. You couldn't stay. You couldn't stay there. Um, you're big at honoring yourself. You recognize what you do well, and you also recognize what others do well. And let's see if Spacey Angel lives up to her name. Lots of it. Spacey Angel is A. I'm not going to read this because I want you to write me back and say A is the first letter, first vowel in your real name, because I see it's your real one in Spacey Angel. But I can tell you what your 4 means, your year of the 4. Building, protecting, structuring, despises instability. You've come up with challenges from the past that were unstable, and you want control. 4 wants control. And if you think about the cards that are 4s in the tarot, this is how when I teach you tarot, I teach you those cards. If you think of the guy with the 4 coins and he's sitting there, they're my coins, And the 4 of swords as you go into retreat, that's another way of controlling. If you think about those cards, that's how those numbers relate into the tarot. And it makes tarot a much easier way to learn. And if you're interested in that, I will be starting a class. It's on my website. I did a second ad. I'm sorry. I need to have this work. Um, okay, you've got the A1, A and A1. You've got the A and the 1, and those are both strong leaders. Uh, they can also be rulers. You're quick at making decisions. You lead with wisdom. You can have power and control issues because you want to be in charge. So if you get a win with a couple of other A1s, you might have to have a few discussions to work it out. But you've got other letters and other numbers in your name, all of which are shown in this chart, and that can help you. And I know you're looking at that chart. What's that ever going to mean to me? I did 35 years ago 35? 40 years ago. Whoops, how time flies when you're having fun. 40 years ago, I was presented with this chart. And you can just draw this up on a piece of paper, just write it down, and you can figure your own stuff out. Or if you look in the description of this show that's on StreamYard, I put in a website for, and I'll show it to you now. I know where to come back to. This, I'm going to get you out of here because this really removed from stage. Okay. It's a website, Decode French, Pythagorean Numerology, /numerology. If you go in there, it has a page that lets you write in whatever text you want the numerology at. It's lots of fun if you just want to play with it, because otherwise you're going to sit there writing a whole lot of stuff down. And thank God everybody has a calculator in their telephones. The first time I taught this over 50 years ago, 40 years ago, everybody's phone didn't have a calculator, and I had the calculator. and I was the one who had to help people add things together. Now, I was an accountant at the time, and I was real quick with numbers in my head. I don't do that anymore. But I will tell you, okay, Sarah Broyles, you're an A with lots and lots of A's. I'm going to do the I, the U, and the Y after this, even though I don't see any coming up. A is you're a pioneer. You have the vibration of one, which is strongly pioneer, and you're driving, positive, hard worker, sensitive to criticism, and you are another one that's too hard on your own personal failures. And your life, the year end, last digit of your year, being an 8. That's 8 is a money power number, and it's ambitious power, and you do well with material things. Um, you can lead a business if you wanted to. That's really a matter of personal choice. You have high goals, and those high goals impact on your soul and in the impact on the world. Lots of karma around anything. So if you get put into a situation and someone needs someone to stand up and say, hey, take that over, it's going to be you. And ambition, you have ambition, but you also have ethics. And that would be true because of having the vibration of one. You realize you're not going to be, if you make a mistake and in your leadership, you're not going to try to blame someone else. You're going to take the credit and the blame. The hardest thing about being an 8 anything on your chart, is burnout. You will burn out if you don't monitor yourself because you so commit to things. Carolyn, wait till I do life paths and what personal year you're in. Then it gets real scary. Um, and I'll do another show on how to figure out your personal year and what it means, because we all live in 9-year cycles. And if 5 and 8, 13, this has been a tough year for me. It's an 8-year, and I have, is that right? 8, 5. No, it's, yeah, 8. This is why I need a calculator. I used to be able to do things in my head. But I'll go over the life path numbers before we get out of this. We've got time to do that. Yeah, we want the first vowel in your name and the last digit on your birth year. It's not just, okay, it's not just vowels. It's every letter in the alphabet. And I had that chart up so you can see it. Every letter that's in your name is assigned a number, and you add them all together, and you add your birth year together, you add your birth month and your birth year together. Your birth, like my birthday is May 2nd, 1949, so it's 5-2. I lucked out. I got a 7. It's an easy number. 1949 is not so easy. It's 9. So my birthday, so you add the 5 and the 9 together. No, my birth life path is a 3, and I'm not adding it together right. That's why I need to do this when I can put charts up for you. You have these two numbers, the first vowel in your name and the last digit in your birth year, indicate the strong karmic forces you carried in. Now, all these relate to karma one way or another. And what's really fun, and maybe I'll do this next week, I'm not sure. I have to think about it. Is when you put your whole birth name and everything, and you see what letters, and if you don't have a number, you could have a name without having a number. My maiden name does not have a number in it. It has a 22 soul, but it doesn't have the number 8 in it. And 8 is money and power. And when you have a 0 in as far as the alphabet, what that letter means you have a deficit. It means it's something that's harder for you to handle. I've always been very aware of not wanting to misuse power. I'm terrible with money. I'll tell you how terrible I am with money. I just finished my income taxes yesterday on the computer, and I'm mailing them this afternoon. And I don't owe much of anything, which I wish I owed more because that means my channel will be more successful. What can I say? Okay, what's this one saying? I'm a 6. Oh, you're an S. Nope. 6 is not S. Sherry, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. That one eludes me. Okay. Okay, we got another A, but we've got a different sort of year number. A is the pioneer. You vibrate. You're really good at leading things. You can be too hard on yourself, and you're very sensitive to criticism. And the number 7 at the end of your birth year, you're a strong mentor and you have a lot of inner wisdom in you. You came in with that. You're um, you're a solitary leader. You can. I bet you if you ran the PTA, you ran it all by yourself. Um, you have strong connections with others and yourself. You have a lot of empathy for where other people are. And you need to, your lesson in this life, your karma in this life is to learn how to lead with others. Okay. Okay. Gosh, I really. Okay. Somebody said she was back into it the day, and I find it to be exact, but even calculating inner tendencies. There are a lot of hidden tendencies that are written in your name. And I hope more of you will look at that. I had a friend that used to use. I had a friend who used to use just getting the guy's name, and she said, "Is that the name on your birth certificate? Because we're talking about the first vowel that's on your birth certificate." And if you get the first vowel that's on someone's birth certificate, you know that their inner tendency was to vibrate as one. E's are if the E is the first letter of their name. Oh, I can't. Okay. If the E is the first letter of their name, they're enthusiastic and they have lots of energy and excitement. It's really easy to remember: enthusiastic, energetic, and exciting. They have a real sense of freedom. Don't underestimate their abilities to use their own instincts and their own intuition. E's have a strong intuitive push in through. Routine bores. So if you meet someone whose name their name on their birth certificate, the name on the birth certificate, if it's an E, don't give them a boring job because routine will bore them to death. They love to. This is the other E you have in an E. They love to eat, and E's can become addicted to things, and not just like drugs and alcohol, not that normal stuff, but they can get stuck on a game on their phone, or they can get stuck where they, back in the day when you couldn't tape TV shows and I had a couple friends, they had to be in their house to watch certain shows the nights they were on because they had no way to see it, and they want to be there for every episode, that kind of stuff. And the E's also can be easily emotionally drained. So E's kind of rhyme with their things. They have enthusiasm, energy, excitement. They're easily bored. They like to eat, and they can become emotionally drained. And that's kind of just a karma that runs through their life. Now, they may have a whole lot of other stronger letters at the end. No one with an E is going to want to come in now. Thank you for sending healing for my wrists. It's my It's my left wrist. It's my receiving wrist. I'm working on some little ceremonies. I'm going to do the one you do in October. It's a Buddhist one. You put 3 bay leaves and you flush them away in the toilet. You burn a white candle for an hour next to a glass of salt water, and then you throw the salt water down your sink and down the toilet, and you blow the white candle out. You completely clean your whole bathroom. This is why I do this every year. So at least once a year, everything in there gets steamed and it gets all straightened out. And it really does. Things start to move towards you because you blocked your where water flows through your house. You blocked it with chaos. Yes. No. If you're a 1, okay. If you're an A, E, I, O is a 6. I'm going to talk about that one. And U is a 3. And Y is a 7. And I'll talk about it. A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y. Linda Bruce, I have a feeling, Linda, that October is going to be good, but I'm not going to lay any more cards because it's not what I'm doing today. Um, I may do a show on Thursday. If I do, I'll do individual readings for things like that. But I have a feeling October is going to be a good month for you because you've already had what else could happen in it. Um, oh, that lady was a union steward. Yeah, that would make sense. She'd be a leader in that kind of situation. So the mediator part fits. That really fits because, boy, unions are walking into it today with the dock strike. Um, I can remember hearing news about a dock strike when I was a kid, so it must be a big deal. I think it is since everything comes in through the docks. Okay. And E7, Prince Charming's mom. Well, for the 7, for the E, you've got it. Enthusiasm, energy, and excitement, sense of freedom. Don't underestimate yourself. You're very instinctive and intuitive. You really like to eat food. Um, you don't like routine. That makes you kind of crazy. And you can become emotionally drained if you get too close to things that pull on your heartstrings or on your mind. And for the 7, you could be a strong teacher. You have a lot of inner wisdom, but you like to do things. You like to make decisions and do leadership things on your own. Um, you may have chosen to live parts of your life in seclusion. You have strange connections with others, but you have lots of empathy for how they work and what happens to them. So I think that's kind of sounds like from the times we've had connections, Prince Charming's mom, it's kind of how you are. Ah, okay. And Walls. Tim Walls is an I4. I think, okay, we're going to go I. He's an old soul, humanitarian, charitable. He strikes me as the kind of guy that wouldn't want to sit through the eyes of the angel commercial either. Responsible, compassionate, patience of a saint, great memory, has many lessons to learn about. Letting go and forgiveness are his 2 challenges, and that's not only for other people and what they do, but for what he does himself. He was a challenging member of his birth family, and I think I read somewhere that there has been, especially a parting of the ways as being adult siblings, feel guilt. He feels guilt and pain when it's not called for. And he loves the outdoors. That fits him to a T from everything I've read about him. Um, and he's an I. An R. Okay, he's an R. Oh, sorry. 4. He's a builder. He's a coach. He's a builder. He's a protector. He likes structure. He likes security. He takes challenges. Um, he fights challenges from his past that were part of him having an unstable life. That doesn't mean in this life. This is past life information. He likes to control. He was a coach. He likes to control. Figure it out. He trusts life. He's practical with problem solving. He's strong, but he's very flexible. I think that sounds like the guy I want to see on the debate stage today. Oh, Helene. You also have that name today. That's also one of my daughter's middle names. So she said, except we call it Helene, not Helene. She said, everyone's going to say my name wrong from now on. And I said, yeah, they have a reason to. Um, if you came in a 2-year, you were the peacemaker, the diplomat, you sought balance and mediation. Um, you can see both sides. You can make that, seeing both sides can make you defensive because you kind of see where both of them are. Avoid conflict, big in honoring yourself and others. And for the E, now, if you have more than one E, that matters when we do the whole name. I'll show how that matters when you do the whole name. But the more letters, the more of that vibration you have in your name, the stronger it will hit you. Just like I pointed out that I don't have an 8. I don't have a power, uh, money and power thing, and I do have problems with that. Um, and we're doing the E. Yeah, you're the 3 E's: enthusiasm, energy, and excitement. And you like a sense of freedom, and you can be easily emotionally drained, and you like food, and routine bores you. Oh, I'll do the orange melon because this doesn't look good for him. His vowel is 0, is 0, which is the 6. He's here to make a point. Humble but strong-willed. Now, this is if they deal with it positively. I only write the positive things down. Um, Wise, but they can be self-righteous. Boy, is that ever the truth. Protective of his own family. You can be overwhelmed and be by real responsibilities. That does overwhelm him. Um, get annoyed when they think they're not being listened to. That's true. He puts a 3-year-old fit in the back room. He should learn how to take time for solutions, but he doesn't. And his role here should have been balance. And what they say in the numerology, if you're not doing the positive, you're doing the negative. And boy, is he doing the negative. And he was born in a 6-year. He should have been a healer, guardian of the home, health and hearth leader, safe, loving environment. Do not let neglect do not neglect your own needs. Well, he doesn't do that. He could give and receive. He could be a loyal friend. And he may take over. He may move beyond into other people's boundaries, which I think, yeah, he's been living in my head for 10 years. So boo him. Okay. Does numerology always use your birth name, or does it change to your adopted name and married name? There's a lot of different theories. There's theories about how much time it takes for that to happen. But if you had a birth name put on a birth certificate, then that is the name you chose on the other side and you wanted recorded for you. You can, if my name changes, but not significantly when I got married, actually, a couple of my numbers improved, and actually, I had matured into those numbers. So I think that's the way you can look at it. Really, if you're really interested in that kind of detail, um, Ann Perry, Perry, she has a real good YouTube channel. She has an incredible YouTube library of her old shows. She's been on for 14 years. Excuse me. And you can go look at her stuff. I actually belong to her mentoring group, and she has a couple things a month about numerology. And I just pick and choose what I want to hear from it. So if you change your married name, yeah. If you went through, another thing I've seen is they traced a guy whose name was William, and then he went through a whole period of time being called Billy, and then he went back to William, and how that sort of followed the life path he was on. You're having a spiritual year, Rossi, or personal year. That's the year you're in right now, is 7. And your life path is 7. And I'm going to look down. Okay, I'm going to do Eliza. Because the A is the pioneer. Don't be so hard on yourself for personal failures. That's the most negative thing on here. You're a seeker of truth. You really, really want to work on that, Eliza. E. If Eliza isn't the E the first vowel, unless I'm crazy, unless your name is something other than Eliza at birth, unless your name is some other name or Eliza is your middle name, I want the first vowel of the first name that's recorded for you at birth. And so I'm going by what you're telling me. You're a pioneer now. And it's not that I don't think you are. I just don't know you. And as a 4, you're a builder, a protector. You like structure. You seek stability. And think of the 4 as when you go, 1 is pioneer, 2 is working one-on-one with people, 3 is working with groups, 4 is the year when you kind of look at what you've done in the 1, 2, and 3, and you pull in the things that make your life really stable and work. And if you don't do that in the 4th year, then your 5 year is chaos. If you do the building work in the 4th year, then your 5th year, you will have you'll have a lot of freedom because you'll have a lot of stuff to work with. Then the 6th year, if you go back and look in your life, that's going to be the year you moved house, you bought furniture, you painted the walls. That's a real hearth and home settling in. The 7 years, an analytical spiritual year. This is the 9-year path. The 8 is your money power year. If you've done everything really well, 1 through 7, 8 will pay off for you big time. In money and power, it's where you coalesce it. And then the 9 year is the year when you get rid of all the stuff you didn't want to hold on to. And okay. I'll try to get these materials somehow put in a printed form that I can give you. You can go online and go to any numerologic site and see it. But the deal is we all live in 9-year cycles. And what I'd like to do next time I do numerology is we're going to figure out your life path number, which is just your birth date, and reducing the numbers down. And they can reduce to 1 through 9, or then they can be 11, 22, or 33, which are the master numbers. And then also that time I'll teach you how to figure out your personal year. What year is happening to you right now? And I'll have a little formula put up for you. But if you want, you can go to that website I found and you'll find a whole lot of it. And someone has a U. If you have a U for the first vowel in your name, and it's Juanita, she does have a U. You have a sense of humor, great communication. You like to write, you like to sing. You seek spiritual enlightenment. Obviously, you're here. Ta-da. Okay. led by emotions, you can have a temper, girl. Ooh. Um, and you will get around people that will you're so empathetic to people that they can drain you. So you need, Juanita, you need to learn how to build boundaries. Okay. How do I know what it means when the name number and the date of birth number are not compatible? It means you're probably going to have a lot of confusion in your life at times. Um, but the thing about understanding the underlying numbers behind you is it can teach you where to lean towards to be stronger. Like if you know you work better with small groups of people, then you can try that as working better with small groups of people. I'm going to close it up here in a second. Lady says she hates routine and she loves to eat. What does it mean when someone has all vowels in their full name? We're just looking at the first one. If someone has that kind of situation, you can read up in some numerology books on how to deal with lots of that. And remember, it's based on the Roman. Well, it's based on the Roman alphabet. So, and I'm going to see if there's anybody who has something that's so pressing at the bottom that if I don't answer it, I'll say, "Oh my God." Yeah. Okay. This one I'll do. Barack Obama. He was an A. He was a pioneer leader, and he was a leader. He was a leader. He was very sure of himself. And that would be very typical of someone with that karma combination. And yeah, Tim and Kamala are both ones and nines, so they're fine. Um, oh, someone also has her Buddhist ritual has three garlic cloves. I didn't. Mine never has had three garlic cloves. It's got three bay leaves, a white candle, salt water, and you have to really clean the bathroom. And there's another one. You can look up the abundance of cinnamon ceremony for today. October's a great month in the Buddhist tradition to open up the gateways for prosperity. So, and Sharon's site put in the link to the decoder thing that will figure it out for you, and you don't even have to type it in. Rossi, if you're a zero, you're an old soul. You're deep. You have deep infinity. Completed the circles. You've gone through boundaries beyond the physical. Search for greater purpose. You're not materialistic. Balanced in everyday life. This is a rebirth life for you. In other words, a lot of the karma you had before has been washed away, and you will light the way for others. So that's birth year ending in zero. And those are very simplified, guys. There's whole books written about this stuff, but I just want to give you a glimpse. So um, I want you all to think about those possibilities and look up numerology on your own and see what you see in numerology. Hi, Jeffrey. Thank you for coming. Jeffrey can't see on his phone because he's in the middle of cataract surgery. I'll tell you years later, Jeffrey. Um, and I will probably do a show soon about figuring out your life path for those who don't know how to do it, figuring out your personal year. The thing I use a personal year for most is when I'm talking to people on the phone and that are trying to help me with service. And when they tell me, oh, I'm in a 6-year, what's really fun is if they tell me they're in a 5-year, and I said, man, last year, 4 year, that was tough. And it always is tough. 9 years and 4 years are difficult for people who don't like to give things up. And since none of us want to give anything up, that's an easy guess. But But we'll talk more about that later. And I've run 4 minutes over, and I really um, try to get out of here on time. Talk to you later. Have a good day. Bye.